Yes.
Hare Krishna, good morning. So I'm going to move this a little bit to the side because I want to use the opportunity to interact with you more personally without the screen. I'm used to the screen, so, and I think you can still hear and see. Oh, okay, yes, that's good. Thank you. Some water? Yes, please. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 8 and verse 25. 3:8:25. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Devam Naruttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should first offer his humble obeisances to Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to Nara Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Nasta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. And I don't know the English translation for that. Would you give the English translation?
Oh, okay. By regular attendance in classes on the Srimad Bhagavatam and by serving the devotee Bhagavat, loving transcendental service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised by the choicest Vedic verses, is irrevocably established in the heart.
Thank you. And that's such an inspiring verse, this irrevocably established in the heart devotional service. It's just going to be established there by listening Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. And I believe it's true. I don't just believe it, I'm experiencing the truth of that since I started studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Attracted by the slogan on the Sattva letterhead.
Yeah.
Like the highest truth is a reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. And when I read this, I thought, yes, this resonates with what I believe is true. There is a truth that is for the welfare of all. And here's a book that promises to give me information how that is true. And so, yeah, I was very inspired, and I continue to be inspired by Srimad Bhagavatam more and more every day, and especially in association. So we're starting.
Hare Krishna, Anandini. I practically don't hear you at all.
Let's see if I can do something. If I go to maybe this one.
Now?
I think it's just, we need to be closer and you need to speak louder. It doesn't necessarily need to be like that, but closer and volume. I think that's what we're talking about here. Hare Krishna.
Okay, well, let me know if it's better. Ladini, like this. Do you hear me better? Yes. Okay. Okay. So the verse is here, and we'll do word for word first. And then the full verse. So ayamataha vistarata svamana dehena lokatraya sangrahena vichitra divya abharana amsukanam Kritashriya apashrita Tesha Deham Ayamata Vishna Ayamat Ayamata Vishta I'm lost with the verse. Ayamato Vistarata Svamana Tehena Lokatraya Sangrahena Vichitra Divya Paranam Shukanam Krita Shriya Pashrita Vishadeham Ayamato Vistarata Svamana Tehena Lokatraya Sangrahena Vichitra Divya Paranam Shukanam Krita Shriya Pashrita Vishadeham Ayamato Vistarata Svamana Tehena Lokatraya Sangrahena Vichitra Divya Paranam Shukanam Krita Shriya Pashrita Vishadeham
Yamato Vistarta Svamana
Ayamato Vistarata Svamana
Traya Sangrahena
Tehena Lokatraya Sangrahena
Vichitra Divya Paranam Sukhanam
Vichitra Divya Paranam Shukanam
Krita Shriyapa Svita Veshadeham
Krita Shriya Pashrita Veshadeham
Ayamato Vistarta Svamana
Ayamato Vistarata Svamana
Aya Sangrahena
Tehena Lokatraya Sangrahena
Chitra Divya Paranam Sukhanam
Vichitra Divya Paranam Sukhanam
Vitash Pasrita Veshadeham
Krita Shriya Pashrita Veshadeham
Ayamato Ishtarata Shramana
Ayamato Vistarata Svamana
Tehena Luka Chaya Sangrahena
Tehena Lokatraya Sangrahena
Vishitra Devya Abharanam Sukhanam
Vichitra Divya Paranam Sukhanam
Rita Shriya Pashrita Veshadeham
Krita Shriya Pashrita Veshadeham
Ayamato Vistarata Svamana
Ayamato Vistarata Svamana
Traya Sangrahena
Tehena Lokatraya Sangrahena
Chitra Devya Paranam Sukhanam
Vichitra Divya Paranam Sukhanam
Shriya Pasrita Veshadeham.
Krita Shriya Pasrita Veshadeham.
Ayamato Vistarata Svamana.
Ayamatu Vistarata Svamana.
Ena Lokatraya Sangrahena.
Dena Lokatraya Sangrahena.
Chitra Divyaparanam Sukhanam.
Vichitra Divya Bharanam Sukhanam.
Tashri Pasrita Veshadeham.
Krita Shriya Pasrita Veshadeham. Would anyone online like to recite the verse? Ayamata,
Tata,
by length.
Bhavani,
Vistarata,
Vistarata,
by breadth.
by breath,
Svamana,
Svamana,
by his own measurement.
by his own measure,
Dehena,
Dehena,
by the transcendental body.
by the transcendental body,
Lokatraya,
prior,
the three upper, middle, and lower planetary systems.
the three upper, middle, and lower planetary systems,
Sangrahena,
Sangrahena,
by total absorption.
by total absorption,
Vichitra,
Vichitra,
variegated.
variegated,
Divya,
Divya,
transcendental.
transcendental,
Avarana amukshana amsukhinam. Upsukhanam.
Bhavana, Sukhana,
Rays of the ornaments.
race of the ornaments,
Krita Shriya Apashrita.
Krita Shriya Pashrita,
Beauty created by those dresses and ornaments.
beauty created by those dresses and ornaments,
Vesha,
Vesha,
dressed.
dress,
Deham,
Deham,
transcendental body.
transcendental body,
Translation. His transcendental body, unlimited in length and breadth, occupied the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegatedness, and was properly ornamented. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The length and breadth of the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead could only be measured by his own measurement, because he is all-pervading throughout the complete cosmic manifestation. The beauty of material nature is due to his personal beauty, yet he is always magnificently dressed and ornamented to prove his transcendental variegatedness, which is so important in the advancement of spiritual knowledge. I'm also going to do the next verse, 26. Pumsam svakamaya vivikta margair abhyarchatam kamadukan gripatman pradarshayantam kripayana kindu mayuka binanguli charupatram. The Lord showed his lotus feet by raising them. His lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by devotional service free from material contamination. Such awards are for those who worship him in pure devotion. The splendor of the transcendental rays from his moon-like toenails and fingernails appeared like the petals of a flower. Purport. The Lord fulfills the desires of everyone just as one desires. Pure devotees are interested in achieving the transcendental service of the Lord, which is none different from him. Therefore, the Lord is the only desire of the pure devotee, and devotional service is the only spotless process for achieving his favor. Srila Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 that pure devotional service is jnana karma jnana vritta. Pure devotional service is without any tinge of speculative knowledge and fruitive activities. Such devotional service is able to award the pure devotee the highest result, namely, direct association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. According to the Gopala Tapani Upanishad, the Lord showed one of the many thousands of petals of his lotus feet. It is said, Brahmano Savana Varatame. Yatastuta paradante sobudyata gopavishu me purashat virbhav. Virbabuba. After penetrating for millions of years, Lord Brahma could understand the transcendental form of the Lord as Sri Krishna in the dress of a cowherd boy, and thus he recorded his experience in the Brahma Samhita in the famous prayer Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So I'll recite the verses that will help me, support me to in my sharing to convey what's meant to be conveyed. That's my prayer. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanjana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishvabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Bracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Okay, so where we are in Srimad Bhagavatam, we're hearing Vidura and Maitreya having a conversation. And Vidura, he'd been on a pilgrimage, and when he returned, he met Uddhava, and Uddhava had just spent time with Krishna, because Krishna waited before leaving the planet to meet Uddhava. Especially, he waited for Uddhava. And then when Vidura returned from his pilgrimage, he wanted to know where is everyone, what happened, and he met Uddhava, and he inquired from Uddhava, and Uddhava, when he saw Vidura, he was and he heard his questions, he was so moved in his heart that he wasn't able to speak for a moment. He was so emotional. And then he did speak, and he sent Vidura to Maitreya. Go to Maitreya and ask your questions to Maitreya, and Maitreya will respond. And so this is what we're hearing, this conversation. And Vidura has many questions, and he mainly wants to know about Krishna. Just tell me about Krishna. And then Maitreya starts to speak and respond and explain. And that's how we get to hear all the details of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we were reading in chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita yesterday and 2 days ago. And chapter 12, it's all about the personal form of Krishna. I liked your summary of Arjuna is asking one last time, okay, so tell me now very clearly, what's better? The personal like worshiping you in the personal form or the impersonal worship, and then Krishna gives a clear response. Yes, it's the personal form. And for me, all of Srimad Bhagavatam is, I was reflecting on my journey with Srimad Bhagavatam, and also coming here again after so many years, I was reflecting on that's, the first time I came was 2007. That was 1 year after I'd taken the foundational and advanced seminar, and I was coach training, and I came here to do my coaching internship. And I came for 3 months, and I made sure I could stay. I used all the days before needing to get a visa. I had 3 months, so I stayed for 3 months. And I was also already living with Paramatma, and we were clear, when I come back, we'll get married and we'll have children. So these were 3 months just for me, and doing the internship, and also getting a bhakti experience, because I had with the seminars. Well, before I took the seminar, I moved into a shared flat, and there were 2 Krishna devotees, and they were cooking for Krishna, going to the temple in Zurich, and I was, at that time, I was praying the Jesus prayer of the heart. Lord Jesus, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus, have mercy on me. That was my endeavor. I wanted to make it part of my heartbeat, because that's what I read. That's what they do with the prayer. It becomes part of the heartbeat. And I was searching for unconditional love. I wanted to understand, what is this unconditional love that God has for everyone, and that we could also develop. And I was just failing all the time. I noticed I'm full of judgments, and I realized I hate myself. And there's so much resentment in me, and I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to develop this love. And one of my housemates asked me, will you come to a seminar? And I said, yes, I'd like some communication tools. And I have told the story many times. And so I came to the seminar, and at that time also I was experiencing intense pain in my heart, and I had many tests, and there was nothing medical. And so when I was at the seminar, I was just signed up for the 3 days. I knew, when I stay for the advanced course, I'm going to find out what this pain in my heart is, what it is about. And so I arranged my life to stay for the advanced seminar. And at the end of the seminar, I realized, actually, I had moved out of this house sharing just shortly before taking the seminar, because I couldn't handle all the rules and regulations. I was like, oh, what is this? I love their sincere search for God, and they have teachers, and they have literature, and they actually are inspired, and they're moving forward, and I want that too, but this Hare Krishna is not my thing. And so at the seminar, this is all full of Bhagavad Gita, and there's Hare Krishna, and there's chanting, and so the seminar opened the door for me to give it a try. So to do an experiment, and to instead of chanting Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, I chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I never stopped. I never stopped since then. And so that was my bridge, and so I came here a year later. I did coach training, and I came here, and I had this idea of Sattva-Tov Institute building. In my vision, it was a beautiful building with many staff members and this university atmosphere. That's the energy. And at one point I heard, no, it's actually just David's and Marie's office, and still I came, and I found accommodation near the temple at the girls' school with Akuti.
Akuti morning, yeah. I remember it well.
Yes, and so I was there, and I had nothing to move around. So I would walk to the temple, and dear Govinda, you lived close with your family, so I would walk to your house. but there was no Bhakti yoga community like that, Sattva Bhakti yoga, that it was not existing.
We didn't have any
No morning programs, and so I was just here. And at one point I tried to listen to the lectures at the temple, and I was just disturbed. Something was strange for me. And at the same time, they have this beautiful Srila Prabhupada Murti, and I was sitting next to him and just feel so welcome and home. And so I'm emotional because I have so much appreciation coming up, remembering all this. Because then dear Govinda said, offered we could read Bhagavad Gita together. I could read with him. And so I would come to your office and read Bhagavad Gita, and sometimes I would just cry, and I wouldn't know why. Just having the opportunity to read Bhagavad Gita and hear explanations from you and ask questions and get explanations. Sorry. That just resonated with what I felt was true. So I went back home, and we had Srimad Bhagavatam. So I started to read Srimad Bhagavatam. And I grew up with God as a person in my life, but not so clear a person, just this ominous being. Not ominous, no, not the ominous is, I don't know if it's the right word, not scary. Anonymous, maybe, like behind some thick mist. And I remember having a conversation with my dad because I was so inspired about Bhagavad Gita, and I had many God conversations with him when I was a child. And I said, well, in Bhagavad Gita, there's all these explanations of God, and there's a similar message than you gave me, that we are visiting on this earth, and we're supposed to be respectful and careful, and like, because it's special, we're guests here. And he said, oh, and who is Krishna? And I said, Krishna is God. And he said, you mean he's a person? And I said, yes, he's the person. And he said, really? And I said, why shouldn't he be a person? And he said, yeah, why not? So in Srimad Bhagavatam, and actually it was my father who carried Srimad Bhagavatam, because I went to England to a seminar, and I went to London because I knew there was a temple, Soho Street Temple, and they had this version of Srimad Bhagavatam with the 32 volumes.
30 volumes.
30.
Black or blue cover.
So I went there with my parents, and my dad carried all the Srimad Bhagavatam through London, and then, so. Yeah, and so I started to read and discover, like, oh, this is the person, and he has many forms. He appears even in each species. He appears as Matsya, as a turtle. He appears as Vamana, as a dwarf. He appears as Nrsingadev, half man, half lion, even a fantasy figure. What? And he appears as Mohini, as a beautiful woman, so many forms. And Srila Prabhupada, recently in a class I heard, he said, birds of the same feather flock together. And I thought, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. And Krishna, he just, he comes in a form where those with the same feathers feel attracted. And so he visits, he visits in all these different forms. And he even has an address. That's also what Srila Prabhupada says. We get the address of Krishna here, like within the whole cosmic existence. We get a description, like a map. Here is actually the geographical place where Krishna lives. And of course, he also lives everywhere. He's here with us. He's here on the altar. He's in our heart. And still there's a geography, there's a place where Krishna lives. And it's mentioned here, the three planetary systems. We get a yeah, like a map. These are the planetary systems, the 14 planetary systems, or three divisions. We're in the middle, the earthly planets. And actually we are in our reading group of Srimad Bhagavatam at home, which has read how on Naimisharanya, where the conversation takes place between Sutta Goswami and the sages, Naimisharanya is the center of the wheel that moves the whole cosmic manifestation. That's quite amazing. Like, so we're on the planet where the center of this wheel is, which moves. Yeah, so the three planetary systems, and they're mentioned here, and Brahma is such an important personality for us. Like, I am learning a lot by learning about Lord Brahma and his process. Maybe his process. I don't know if I can call it a process, but he existed. So he was created as the first being, and he didn't have awareness that he exists. And that's me, before waking up to God consciousness or Krishna. I don't know that I exist. And then there's waking up, and Lord Brahma, he woke up. Oh, I exist. And then he wanted to know, what is my existence about? What I'm supposed to do? What's my purpose? And he went into a prayer for millions of years, full absorption. And that's described in the purport to text 26, like full absorption. And then Krishna, full absorption is my understanding. He came to pure devotional service. And that's why Lord Krishna appeared before him. He appeared before him and greeted him and congratulated him on his achievement. And then he gave him all the knowledge, all that he needed to know to create the universe. So we get a description of who Krishna is as a person, all his variegatedness, and variegatedness is a thing, an issue here. And Srila Prabhupada says, transcendental variegatedness, which is so important in the advancement of spiritual knowledge. I found that sentence very interesting, because I can go to this, I'm very attracted to simplicity. Like I like the simple chapels, Christian chapels, not the Catholic chapels, the Reformed. What would it be? Protestant? I don't know. Protestant. Like where they don't have any, there's maybe a cross, but nothing else. And I really like that simplicity of just, and so here there's variegatedness, and Srila Prabhupada says it's very important, this variegatedness, and then I am appreciating both, actually, the simplicity and also the variegatedness that I'm learning from Srimad Bhagavatam. And which actually opens my eyes to see that outside in the world and in human beings, there's so much variety. So I made all these scribbles and I'm not saying what I wanted to say, so I'm just going to take a moment to so we learn about the form of God, Krishna, as a personality and in form, and also how he's present everywhere. And Krishna describes that in Bhagavad Gita. He describes how he's present everywhere. Like he's the strength of the strong, and his wisdom, his silence. He is I don't know, the shark amongst the aquatics, he's the ocean amongst the bodies of seas, he's intelligence in women, he's like, there's all this description of that he's the flower bearing spring, he's the scent in the earth.
It's the letter A.
He's the letter A. Yeah. Yeah, so many things. It's like impossible actually to not see Krishna. If we, if I really take into to heart what's described in Bhagavad Gita, just in Bhagavad Gita, then it's actually impossible to not see Krishna. And yet I often don't see Krishna, but still, like, he is everywhere. And so this omnipresence was present for me yesterday when we went to Gainesville. We went to Damayanti and Garuda invited us to join them on Harinam Sankirtan. And as we were driving there, we were sharing what's happening for us, what's our inner process. And at one point, when Paramatma was sharing, he said, and I am waiting for Krishna magic. And so then I was inspired by that Krishna magic, which is a term I got from Yamuna Devi. Yamuna, the Srila Prabhupada's female student devotee, who I read in her book 2017, which is when I was here the second time. 2016-17, that's when I was here the second time. I got her book and I found this expression Krishna magic that I really like a lot. And so yesterday we drove and it was beautiful weather. It was towards the evening and the sun was shining and we were in Depot Park. There's this water and the water, fountain coming out and we started with a kirtan. And I felt so peaceful and joyful in my heart. And the atmosphere just seemed magical to me. The whole atmosphere, the place, the energy of the light was so very beautiful. And then I had this commitment to distribute at least one book. My very first book distribution in public. And I said, I just want to do this at least once in this lifetime. I will give myself this experience. And I had the intention to listen to Super Soul, where is Super Soul going to guide me? And so Damayanti and Garuda went off and Paramatma, he was very clear. He's like, I'm going to go on my own journey, adventure. And he went off with Mridanga. And I continued with some kirtan, and then I saw one lady and I thought, okay, I will approach her. And I asked her if she's interested in a conversation about God and spirituality and the purpose of life, and she said no. And I said, are you interested in Bhagavad Gita? And I showed it to her. She said no. And I was so in some kind of, I don't know the English word, enchanted maybe by the place and the sun and the light and the kirtan. I just felt fully accepting of her no. I felt that she was in pain, and so I felt a little pain of not having given her something. And then I didn't approach anyone else. I held Bhagavad Gita and we did some kirtan, and I went with Damayanti and I observed and learned from her how she approaches people, and I observed Garuda and Anuk and Noah were there trying to make sure no one puts us in connection. And I could completely understand them and respect them and love them. I think it's very sweet that they came even. Yeah, so I didn't approach anyone else, and I had one movement in my heart to approach someone, and I didn't. And still, like in my heart, I had just had this peace. And in my mind, I had a million dramas and things going on, which I'm not going to share. And it was a challenge for me to just simply stay with this peaceful feeling. Like externally, I didn't achieve my intention, my commitment. I didn't. And I wasn't looking back, I wasn't like committed in what, no matter what happens, I'm going to give out the Bhagavad Gita. I wasn't in this place. And I feel so much peace having had this experience. I feel so grateful that you took us along, because I realized since coming here 2006, 7, there was something in my mind saying book distribution is the highest, that's the best, that's what you should do, and that's how Srila Prabhupada will be pleased with you. That's the only thing. And I came in contact with this yesterday, that even though I, when I say it loud, it's of course it's not true. Like there's, Srila Prabhupada gives us so many possibilities, and he's giving me many possibilities where I am sure, well, like when I'm just with Srila Prabhupada, I'm sure he is pleased. It's just when I come with others and I fear their judgments, or I project my judgments onto them, that I think, oh, he's not pleased with me. But actually in my heart, I know he's pleased, even if I don't go on book distribution on the street. So yeah, to just stay with this peace inside. And I endeavored and I didn't over endeavor. And I have so much appreciation for those who actually go out in the street and distribute books. It's such a, well, if it's such a pain for others as it is for me, it's I admire that. And I'm also clear, I don't have to go on book distribution ever again. I might. And if I do, I want to be really more prepared. I might even go by myself and really take a full day and maybe just approach one person, but really be in this meditation of how do I want to connect with people? How do I want to, what can I do to really give this gift of Bhagavad Gita to someone in an authentic way that they get it? But I'm freed from this is what you should be doing. Also, I was very impressed by all the stories Paramatma shared in Damayanti, how I observed you approaching people with like no fear, just here. And Garuda, what he shared, I hope he will share sometime, what he shared, his experience and his enthusiasm. Yeah, so I was mainly connected to the magic of the atmosphere, and when the sun went down, the whole sky went golden. It was like, yeah, golden. I thought, yeah, this is Lord Chaitanya's movement. It's the golden movement, and all the sky was golden, and the water was coming up, and yeah, water, taste of water, that's Krishna. The flowers, the plants. So I was in this butterfly and unicorn land. So what is the time? Okay, that's good. Yeah, so that's the and another thing which happens to me each time, and I don't go much on Harinam, but the few times that I have been, what I experience is it's always like my judgments of people drop, they're gone. And also yesterday I still see the people. I can still, they're like a photo in my mind, very clear. I see the people and those that you approached, and sometimes I would join a bit in the conversation. And it's many years ago that I took a workshop with Sulaika. She's a Sufi story dancer, and she it's all about dancing your own story as a purification and as a way of self-realization. And one of the exercises was she had like a few people stand in the middle. There were, like 60 or 80 people in a big round tent. And she asked a few to get up and stand in the middle. And she said, look at these people here, these persons, and just imagine they are spirit souls. She was a Sufi, but I don't think she was really, she was spirit souls. And they are in these bodies. They are playing these characters most perfectly. No one can play this part, this role more better. Like Damayanti is the best person to play Damayanti. Tira Govinda is the best person to be Tira Govinda, and Rukmini is the best person to be Rukmini. And that was my experience yesterday. It felt perfect and complete. Like this, yeah, they were so friendly. Even the one who was not friendly, who was, I have my own Bible. I thought she was really sweet. Like she was, yeah, she was.
Her husband apologized for her.
Yes.
I'm sorry about her. We love the Bible.
Yeah, so it was just, and it brings me back to variegatedness. There are different paths to God. And so Brahma, going back to the text, Brahma, we're actually hearing how he, at the very beginning, what he was going through and what he was experiencing, and so it took him millions of years to realize Krishna, to get to meet Krishna in a form, in his original form as Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajam. And Srila Prabhupada says that Lord Chaitanya gave us a very easy process, and it doesn't take millions of years to come to God realization. And actually, while Srila Prabhupada gave us an even more easier way to come to God realization. And I was reminded of the last verse in chapter 11, which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. It says it is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and it is that those who serve Krishna with devotion, like free from mental speculation and free from contamination of fruitive activities, and are friendly to everyone, they will surely come to Krishna. And for me, this verse just summarizes or describes, maybe, I don't know how to say it. My experience yesterday was somehow bringing me closer to this verse, to understanding what is the meaning of this verse, because to go out in public and say, I am endeavoring to devote myself to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I'm inviting you to join. It means I let go of all my judgments of other people, and I have much to grow into realization to this verse, and yet, relatively, for my experience, there was less judgments, and it also required me to step out of. I said, on it. This, if I do this, it's the death of on it. It's the death of my material personality, character, what I think I should be doing. So that's for me, that relates to contamination of fruitive activities, to let go, to, put this to the side and be friendly to everyone. Be friendly to everyone. And of course, the true meaning of friendly is to share Bhakti Yoga, to share Krishna consciousness, to share Srila Prabhupada in the essence, in the true meaning. So I have many more notes, and now I'm looking where to continue. I have a few minutes. So yeah, I do. I have a note here. It says community here. So I want to share a little bit on this. And it's all for me in the context of this journey of coming to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a form, is a person, is a personality. I can have a personal relationship, a personal exchange. He's actually taking care of me, and I can take care of him. We brought our Gornitai deities here. And that's also a way how we are, a way we're offered. Here's a form of Krishna, here's a form of God, and worshipping the form of God in the deity form is a well, for me it's a practice to come to realization that God is a personality, Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. And yeah, when so I was here 2007 and I returned 2016. I returned because I had decided to accept the nudge of Krishna to take formal initiation. Because I wasn't interested in that, really. I didn't want to name. I had Srila Prabhupada and the books and the chanting, and I thought that's just a different way than what I had in Christianity with Jesus and the Bible and the prayers and so. And at beginning of 2016, I felt stuck in my spiritual progress. And it was the beginning of the year, and a friend came to me and she had a pile of tarot cards, and she said, "Would you like a card for this year?" And I wasn't so much into this, but I said, "Yeah, why not? Let's have some fun." And I took a card, and on the card I can still see there was a fire and like a stage and 2 curtains. And before the curtains, there were like 3 threads with pearls, like this. And then it said, "Initiation by fire." And I had heard a few years before, Madri. When did Madri get her formal initiation? Madri.
2013.
2013.
And Lavini Shakti early 2016.
But 2013, that's when I heard it's possible to get formal initiation with Srila Prabhupada as my spiritual teacher. And then I thought, okay, if that's possible, maybe one day I will do it. That put the seed in my mind. And then 2016, and so towards okay. So we didn't have much financial resources at the time, and to come here with a family felt like a big, huge mountain to climb. So I organized a seminar, and I said, if we have 20 registrations, we will have enough resources to come to Florida. And we had exactly 20 registrations. There were 19 paying participants and 1 didn't pay, and yet I counted her as 20. So that's how we came here. And then the Krishna magic started to intensify with, I hope you don't mind sharing. The 15 is achter runden Teil. Paramatma, I said, "Would you like to join me in this ceremony?" And he said, "No way, I can never chant 16 rounds, impossible." And then we came here, and then on the day of my ceremony, some Krishna magic happened, and since then, Paramatma, like, he can actually chant 16 rounds. Yeah, each day, yes. And so a year later we returned, and as we returned, 2016, there was a community here. There were morning programs, and we met. No, I met you a year later, I think. yes, Damayanti and Garuda, we came to your home. You came to the morning programs. We were staying with the girls were staying with Mother Malini, and the boy was staying with Dear Govinda. The boy, that's how we arranged. Yeah, and Patrick and Rebecca and Brielle and Devon, and so everyone was coming to the morning programs. And also a year later, there was more and more. Payal, I think that's how I met you. And Lakshmi, I don't know, Lakshmi Priya is the first time I saw you in person this time. And Rukmini, I think we met at Damayanti's place, singing kirtan outside in the garden. Yes. And Rosa, I met you online last year and now in person. And so I see like the community is just growing and flourishing, and it was moving for me and actually relieving for me to come here this time and see, because my experience of the community here was mainly online. And so in my narrow vision, it's whoever comes to the morning program, that's the community. And I thought, oh, there's less people coming. What's happening? What's happening with them? And now I'm here and I see you all have your own sanghas. You're creating your own sanghas and communities in your own homes, and it's just like it's growing. It's just it's growing this. I would call it, and this is maybe an unjust judgment. I don't know. I call it like a sincere and authentic approach to what God consciousness or Krishna consciousness is, how Srila Prabhupada gives it to us, which is not a stereotype. It's very personal, and it's about the relationship in life with the community, the neighbors, the friends, the family. So that's what I'm seeing here. And yeah, I'm grateful and relieved and happy. And I came here to learn. So I see there's great potential for me to learn by being with you and associating with you. So yes, and all of it. That's the last words. After my seminar experience in 2006, my life was ruined.
Here's why you're doing that.
And I was actually in real despair, and I was crying for understanding what's my life about and what's my purpose, because I had, living in Switzerland, I had everything that's material. I had a really nice boyfriend with the prospect of getting married and having children and staying together for all life. I had a training as a teacher. I had a good income. I had a nice family. I mean, I still all have all of that. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. And I remember falling asleep in the train with this question. So what is going to make me happy? I have everything. And I woke up because I was hearing Ananda Dasi. That was the words I heard, and I remember sharing with you on the phone. And I wanted
Before you knew what it meant?
Yes. And I asked, what does this mean? I asked Krishna Bhajan, because I knew he knew Sanskrit. He was in my LMP, and I asked him, what does Ananda mean? And he said, spiritual bliss. Okay, spiritual happiness. Okay, what's that?
Wow.
And so I became curious. And also at that time, I had a dream that Dear Govinda came to Zurich and gave a big seminar, a talk. And so I wanted to go and meet David, see David again. And I arrived, and there was a big hall, and it was empty. And someone at the door said to me, it's over, everyone's gone. And I was like, my heart sank. But then I could see a person on the other side, and the person came to me really quick. It was very small, very well, yeah, small, and had a walking stick and had dark skin. He was Indian. And I said, oh, I wanted to come and see David. And he said, chant and be happy. He took my arm. I can still feel this, like, chant and be happy. And I didn't have an idea what it meant. And then my friend with whom I lived, she gave me a Bhagavad Gita and she said, I don't know why, but I have to give you this book. And I looked at the book, and then there was this Indian. It's a different picture. There was this Srila Prabhupada with a walking stick and like effulgent, saying, chant and be happy. So it's 19 years and I am still often very miserable, but my joy and my happiness does increase like steadily, that there's more and more happiness and joy. Not so much because of the external circumstances and what happens when I don't see butterflies and rainbows. Then I see a lot of misery, yet the fundamental experience of my life is more and more happiness and joy, because for me, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but I have found the truth. I have found what brings me to understand God as Krishna, and to understand the true meaning of spiritual master, which is, yeah, Srila Prabhupada, very, very close to me. Not replacing Lord Jesus Christ. And association, the power of association. And that's my big learning field, to actually associate and meet other people with an open heart. That's being friendly to everyone and being vulnerable and sensitive, and just here I am with all I bring, and be in this exchange of love that I'm experiencing here very, very strongly and intensely and very beautifully, and I thank you for that. So I'll read the verse again. His transcendental body, unlimited in length and breadth, occupied the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegatedness, and he was properly ornamented. The Lord showed his lotus feet by raising them. The lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by devotional service, free from material contamination. Such awards are of those who worship him in pure devotion. The splendor of the transcendental rays from his moon-like toenails and fingernails appeared like the petals of a flower. So it seems like I haven't directly addressed what is in the text, yet for me that's what came as something that I can actually speak about, because what is written here, I could just let it be balm for my heart, but to actually speak about it is, I don't have realization. So I'm eager to hear your experience, what's happening for you, realizations, questions, corrections. Rosa. No.
Krishna. I'm so glad to be here associating with you in person. I feel very moved and very touched by your class today. And trying to think about what to do with that. But my mind has other ideas. Mental speculation was mentioned, and I mean, in various verses and throughout the time that I've had with Bhakti, I've heard that mentioned, and I don't know why, but today I want to ask about it. Like, what is mental speculation? And what's going on for me is that my mind is always very curious. I'm always asking questions. And very specifically, I get like very hung up on like, what's the definition of this word that I've been using my whole life, but I don't know what it is. And I wonder how much I'm maybe busying myself with nothing, or if it's useful. What I experience is that these attachments to understanding are realizations that I don't know, but I'm functioning in ignorance. And so I want to understand. I don't want to function in ignorance. And, you know, I'm persistent, and something comes to me that gives me some amount of satisfaction. So I feel like I can move a little bit more easily with more distinction. Right? But is this mental speculation, all this like
You'd like to really understand what is mental speculation so that you can identify it in yourself.
the type of mental speculation that we're discouraged from, I suppose.
Like the speculation that just covers us to see reality as it is.
That prevents us, yes, I suppose.
Yes. Thank you for your question. Well, that is my understanding, also related to verse 55 in the 11th chapter, free from mental speculation, is anything that I make up in my mind that doesn't really exist, or has nothing to do with this moment here. Unless many past experiences, fears. I for myself, I see things I heard, things I read, things I watched, things that I experienced. They can all come into my consciousness and create, like yesterday, thousands of stories. What will happen if I go on Harinam Sankirtan? And I shared the example of coming here by plane and seeing these big, huge airplanes like going into the sky, and how humans are so proud of this advancement and this technology. And I thought, in a sense, that's also mental speculation, to think that human beings do this, that humans can create, can actually think of great things and do them. It's a form of mental speculation to think that I can't create a Srila Prabhupada centered community in Switzerland. It's a mental speculation. It's something my mind makes up, like we heard from Lakshmi Priya. Yes, she's still here. Citing Luke from the Bible, with God everything is possible. So it's a speculation to think it's not possible.
And if I may try to deepen a little bit, so often in the sentences, if I'm recalling, it says free from illusion and mental speculation. The fact that those are mentioned together tells me that they're related but distinct. So then to deepen it, what's the distinction between illusion, what I'm hearing you're saying is kind of like illusion, like I think this and I think that, versus mental speculation?
Well, thank you. Well, yes, it's a distinction, and I'm just sharing my understanding, and please add to it. Is that illusion? It's the energy. It's an energy like Maya. So it's the energy that makes me think this is not, that makes me think this is not Krishna, or this is not related to Krishna. So that's illusion. It's the energy. And the mental speculation is what I'm actually creating in my mind, the thoughts that are there in my mind, the emotions that are there, the grunges, like all of that. So yeah, I think, as you're asking this question, that I have developed towards at least having some awareness that my thoughts might not be true. So there's less illusion. There's less illusion, there's still the mental speculation. So that's what comes to me. Maybe someone wants to add to that.
What song comes to me is we're completely encouraged in humble spirit of inquiry, a spirit of inquiry to towards enhancing, deepening, enriching our realization of truth, of our identity, of our dharma, and that, you know, Tagvati Pranipatena Prakrashana Seva Upadikshenti taken up, getting us Tattvadarshana Lakshmi Priya quoted that on Thursday, and again related to some of what Lakshmi Priya shared. It doesn't necessarily mean that we ask lots of questions. Srila Prabhupada said the only question he asked to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta is, how can I serve you? At the same time, it might take the form of asking lots of questions, but it's essentially it's that spirit of humble inquiry. Okay, and that's different than using our mental cognitive processes to try to avoid truth and surrender to truth. Then that's the energy of mental speculation. Okay, it's like, okay, well, what's the process to realize that I'm the soul? Oh, chant Hare Krishna. Okay. So what that actually means, we can chant anything. So so that would be mental speculation. Because we could chant Coca-Cola. It's like so that's mental speculation. Like the energy there is like, my goal in the name of I'm seeking truth is really to avoid surrendering to truth and realizing more deeply. And that's polar opposite than using our intelligence, including it's a function of intelligence to doubt and to have questions and to point, well, yeah, what's the gift? Yeah. You said this here. Arjuna has doubts, and he asks the doubts, and he's sincere to deepen his understanding of truth with full sincere readiness to surrender to truth, to the supreme person. Actually, in some communication with you, Bhakti Rosa, and with someone else in the community, recently, he was saying that maybe just a few months ago, he would notice something that Prabhupada said that maybe both in content and in spirit and energy was confronting or contradictory to the paradigms and then he would just be like really cynical towards Prabhupada and this whole process of bhakti like that. And he wrote to me recently that now, when he sees something that's not making sense according to his mental paradigms, now he's more likely to assume probably there's something about me that's not, probably there's something limited about me, and not that Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam's got flaws. Not that he's like fully surrendered, not that I'm fully surrendered to that. I mean, that, that's a function of pure devotion, but he could see in the past few months, that's where he's going towards. That's where he's going towards. And just in some recent communication with you, Bhakti knows you noticed something that like, well, it said this, but here it says something different. And you said, and I trust there's something that I don't understand to connect the dots. So that's a humble spirit of inquiry. It's not blind following, just as Arjuna didn't blindly follow. And neither is it like cynicism, like this doesn't make sense, this is stupid, or like that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, Dhamma.
Everyone turn the
Firstly, thank you for the class. Thank you all for your association. Something that comes to mind on the topic of mental speculation is conditioning. Like I had a father. My father passed away, but he was really into speculation. So I feel like that's how I grew up, and I was like, it's cool because you know you can go anywhere, like you're free to like explore like any question. So like I appreciate that there was room for like anything could be true and anything could be possible. Um, and I remember like in my middle school, it like shifted to where like you know the like questions were like what happened before the beginning of time, like you know just like you know there where like I think my like I you know naturally the mind could awaken to speculate, to be able to speculate like far out things, and and can I say I'm thinking about conditioning with like godlessness, that some of us are conditioned in to have godlessness, like God isn't in the picture at all. I'm not really sure about you, but for me, God wasn't in the picture. Like, there was no higher authority. It was just that, like the mimes, you know, was like the only thing I could go to you know, figure things out was me, myself, and there's no God, there's no authority. And I think when you are on your own without God, there's more of a trap to go into mental speculation, because there's loneliness, and you want, maybe for the inquisitive minds do want to inquire, and there's no one to go to. So the conditioning to go to oneself or other mental speculators, it could be, you know, it's not like about being bad, like you know, having evil intention, but you're just trying to figure stuff out and not having authority, like true authority that has like absolute truth, like the information about the absolute truth. Anyway, to sum up my history, you know, there was a point where, you know, I think I was like 19 or 20. I was like I just, through mental speculation, I was like, I believe there's an absolute truth. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I want to align with the absolute truth. I just had this my own realization that I wanted whatever the absolute truth was. And it could be just the truth of a situation, like a truth that may be painful in a relationship, or like a truth about like could kind of disrupt my life. But I was like, if it's the truth, like I need to know, I want to honor that truth. So it could be material, temporary, it could be like the absolute. Anyway, I mean, I guess we all have our journey to come to trust like spiritual authority, but that was it. It's like crucial is that commitment to the absolute truth, and then like maybe the absolute truth has personhood, and then there's representatives of this person, and you know, like you can like really get the answers to like you know life's answers. I don't know. So that was all. I just wanted to share about godlessness and where can you turn to when we turn to our minds.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and the mind can just go so crazy, and if that's my highest reference,
There's authority.
authority, yes,
That's scary.
that's it's very scary.
Yeah.
And I have been there. Yeah, and it reminds me of actually when we were like, I don't know, between 17 and 18, 19, we spent time with friends, like a group of friends, and they would really like philosophical conversations. Jonas, he really liked philosophical, and he would go completely speculative, like out of, there's one thing he said, and I remember I was mainly listening. I was very quiet. And he had with you, and he said, just imagine if God were like a huge creature and we are just somewhere on his body, you know, like on a hair of his body. And that just really stayed with me. And that's what, you know, that's what today's text is about. Like God, Krishna's body, one form of him is actually like a gigantic, unconceivable, huge, long, wide body, and we are placed somewhere on that body. But without having Srimad Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada and my trust and faith in it, this would just be some, you know, wild speculation out there, and this gives me orientation of what to yeah, and that's what comes to me when I hear you. It gives me orientation, and also it actually I'm noticing that, I don't know if anyone else noticed, if you have that experience too, but it's somehow like there's something in me that can recognize truth. And Srimad Bhagavatam, like files, I don't know, polish, I don't know, just makes this instrument, I don't know how to call it, sharpens it. Yeah, so it becomes really sharp and yeah, I have that constant experience with Srimad Bhagavatam, and then I can apply it to other things I hear, and this instrument will give me some information. Okay. Anything else? Anyone online?
You have a few chats. There's a few comments on the chat. One of them was from me saying, just thank you for sharing your experience and perspective of the activities yesterday. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the class.
Thank you, Parampara. Yes, Paya, yes, we met at Mother Malini's place, and I think the first meeting was a cooking class.
That makes sense.
Oh, Rukmini, yes. We met 2007 at Qigong class. I do remember now. I walked past the yoga center, Ayurveda yoga center yesterday. Yes, that's true. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Anandini. This is Payal. Thank you for your class and sharing your experience and getting to hear like your journey was very inspiring for me. I wanted to share that I also was similar. I felt like this was similar, like very clear. I was like, I'm not going to be a Hare Krishna. And the cooking class that I met you at was my entry as well. Even though like at the Salvatore courses, I was like, I'm not going to do that. So it's nice to, I think when I met you, it was like my early days of consistently doing cooking classes with Mother Malini. And I remember being like, wow, she came all the way from Europe to, be here and study. So it's nice to think about that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing, Payal. Yes, it makes my memory more alive when you share. Yeah. Yeah, something as cooking, something normal as cooking is okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.